Yes, I did.
Light.
Ah! We haven't had a single person yet, but we already had one like so far. So thank you.
Good. That must have been an auto like.
All right, welcome to the Zooming Who's podcast, and I am your host, Dustin Husky.
And I'm Kurt Sourpuss.
And we are so sorry for being so late on the other episode, next episode stuff. August has been an interesting month, sort of August and into September for both of us.
Insane.
I have used every single weekend for one reason or another in August for something else. Whether it was something I wanted to do or something that people wanted me to do, I was doing something. I had fun, but it felt like, whoa, I'm doing one thing to another, back to work, doing one thing and another, back to work. It almost seemed like I didn't really have anything to catch up on. And hello, Alpha. And I'm going to do a small recap of what's going on in August for me. We, of course, did 1 year anniversary episode to start off the month. Ooh, and King Alpha's got tacos, which that sounds good right now. I'm eating leftover fries with some Domino's Buffalo hot sauce because you know what? I like to live wild.
And I'm eating a hamburger on a hot dog bun.
Kurdan is also living life wild.
Yep.
So I went to the Bristol Renaissance Fair 3 times because you know what? I've never done it 3 times before since, the past year has been so boring in a sense that you don't do a whole lot much anyway. Normally I do, but this past 18 months has been a shit show.
Yep.
I wanted to go out and do something for fun because you know what? I need an escape. And I did. And I went to Ren Fair with Tiggs, Ren Fair with my mom, and then Ren Fair with a former coworker and a local. And it was a lot of fun. Then I went from my really, really kind of crappy schedule of working Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at the same time, and then waking up butt ass early in the morning for Saturday. Now I got a shift I was not actually expecting. I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday the same time start. And I got Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday off. I was not expecting that, but you know what? I'm living it up as best I possibly can. So,
and you're working 12-hour days.
I'm still working 12-hour days. We lost a lot of people, so that's not changed. But you know what? I could use the extra money for certain reasons. So that's my August for the most part. How was your August?
Oh my God. So we lost somebody else at my job. So in the year and 2 months that I've been there.
Does that look normal?
What's it supposed to be?
I have no idea.
Hot buffalo, I would toss it. I wouldn't use that if it's been just sitting out. It's got to be refrigerated. So we've lost 8 people in the year and 2 months.
Aw.
None of them have been replaced. They just keep either switching departments or just leaving, just quitting. Oh, you almost wasted food.
The fry launched at me. Don't
eat that.
Okay.
Looks bad.
I don't know if it should be green.
No.
So continue, please.
Domino's hot buffalo.
Can you grab the trash can? Yep. I didn't expect this to be so green. I was not actually expecting that.
I wouldn't put it in here. I would actually pour that. Well, whatever you do.
You know what?
Your garbage.
Yeah.
In case it. What else has been crazy?
So with your work,
yep,
things have been insane because we have napkins. That work has always never been letting up for you.
No.
And even with the 3 of you, when you still had 3, you were always, a few days behind? Even if you got the few days prior stuff out, there was always the stuff from yesterday and today, let's say, coming in and sitting. You're able to get the stuff from a few days ago out on the shelf, and it's just a never-ending cycle because there's only 3 of you. Yep. When any one of you take a day off,
you fall behind.
You fall behind, yeah.
You fall behind every time.
So it's actually been a horrible cycle of playing catch up.
But with that said, we've never been completely behind. Like, we've always been able to catch up and take care of stuff.
Right.
And never had any support from store manager. Never had any support from the rest of the management staff, really.
They've been totally absent about everything.
No, they don't. We're invisible on their radar. We're just fine. I'd rather have that than have them up our ass on shit.
Now, what have you been asking the most this past August? Almost nearly.
Well, the pay raise.
Yeah.
Which kept getting pushed back and pushed back.
And what's the update on it now?
Supposedly, it's this next paycheck.
Now, when is that supposed to be in your bank account?
A week from today. A week from today.
So now you can start bitching about it if it doesn't happen.
Yep.
I would too.
This will be if it doesn't happen now, this will literally be the 7th time they've lied to us. Good luck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Swirly swivel chair cat.
Yeah.
So you've been constantly been asking, because you're the only department at this particular Walmart, and
Not
apparently
the only
Walmart's abroad.
Not the only department.
Oh, there's a few others that have not gotten any form of pay raise.
Yeah. The latest on that is anybody who isn't at the new 15 rate is getting a $2 bump.
What?
From whatever your pay rate is. If you're $11 an hour,
you're going up to 13.
You're going up to 13. If you're at 12, you go up to 14. If you're at 10, you go up to 12.
So that's not including those that went up to 15 already.
No, they don't get the bump.
Oh.
It's all the forgotten bumpers.
So in this case, you will be paid $2 more.
Yeah.
So you're not even getting the promised 15 like you were hoping.
Well, they're just saying this like as a generic statement.
Oh.
We're still supposed to get the 15, but not the 2 along with that. 15ers don't get bumped up to 17.
Oh, no.
But I have some news.
Okay. Let's just hear puss news.
My last day off, which was yesterday, Wednesday, Sylvester was watching me very closely, as the poos does.
From afar?
Yep. And I had placed a plate on the counter next to me. And I don't know, he might have been expecting milk or something.
So he was watching and waiting?
Yeah, very closely. And I went downstairs for a second because I forgot something. And while I was downstairs, I heard this really loud clang, 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 clang. Come back up. He's still there. He's looking down at this plate that he had pulled down the side of the,
of the counter.
Your son.
And the plate didn't shatter?
Did not shatter.
Okay, so he's got strong paws for a cat. Okay.
Strong paws. He, yesterday, also.
He's a very special boy.
I was on the phone with someone and I was watching him. He jumped up onto the record player that's in the hallway over there,
Mm-hmm.
in between the staircase and the door to the washer dryer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing this with his paws on
He
the
was,
door
he was
door
trying to
handle.
open the door.
He was trying to open the door, and almost got it.
Oh, wow.
He almost opened that door because his little paws were.
Cats are a lot more smarter than you give them credit for.
I swear, it's scary.
I'm so glad we don't have postmodernist doorknobs.
Yep.
The handles, like the flat, straight handles.
He kept opening your door.
Really?
I'm like, Paul's not home. Justin's not home. He kept opening the door. I'm like, nope, he's not home.
And it was pushing his cat face through.
Yep.
It's like, and just like wiggling the cat face directly into the door.
Yep. I had to keep closing it.
Aww.
That cat, he is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah, he is.
Before we go any further, you had something you wanted to do for King.
Oh yeah, so King, you've asked me like last month for the next podcast, which did not happen until now. Now I'm going to be answering your question. Your question is to both of us is, do you think today's cars are ugly and undistinctive compared to stuff that we have seen or grew up with in the past? Are cars today something that, is pleasing to look at? Or do they all look somewhat the same that cars from the past looked a bit more distinctive? What are your thoughts? And I'll give me.
I'll give you the short, and I'm sure you'll give us the longer. Here's my thing. Number one, it depends on the car, obviously. But I can't stand that a lot of the foreign cars, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, have all rounded out in the ass area.
Whoa. Are you saying they have a round ass?
Yes.
And that you, Kurdan, your middle name Sarapus,
Yes.
are looking at the butts of cars?
Yes.
Okay. Let that be known for the record.
Here's my issue, though. I cannot differentiate the asses. I can't tell one ass from the other until I get close enough to see the insignia of the model.
Whose ever car is on the ass?
Yes. That's my problem. Beyond that, some of the cars' aesthetics are nice.
Yes. Yeah.
I do not like the newer I don't like the new Corvettes. They're ugly.
Aw. The Poos is not a fan of the Corvettes. You must redesign the Corvettes to make pleasing for the Poos.
Yep. I don't like them. They anger me.
I think, in my opinion, I'm going to go off on what you say about the round look.
Mm-hmm. Because it's true, isn't it?
It's true. They all look jelly bean-like, which jelly bean to me is cute. It's a good shape. However,
for a jelly bean.
All right. And for cars themselves. 1980s was literally a box car.
I like the box.
I do like boxes too. 90s cars rounded out, became more like a used bar of soap that looks very curvy.
I like bar of soap.
Then starting around, the late 2000s and such, cars were starting to pick up a very distinct, similar shape.
I like shape.
There is actually a on purpose reason behind this of why they do that with that shape. It's for crash protection and pedestrian collision. Mostly for pedestrian, because if you have a more blunter nose of a car, it'll launch whoever you're running over into your windshield. At least they're not going to get run over, they're going to get hit, but at least they're going to be out and away from underneath the car and more above the car, where you're still going to get hurt. You're still going to get smashed.
See, that just brings me back to Grand Theft Auto days, where I would literally get in a car and just see how many pedestrians I could just take out.
Aww.
Find the busiest walkway and then just swerve over onto the sidewalk. Just take them all out. So when you put it that way, it feels like you're just issuing me a challenge to just start taking out pedestrians.
Maybe. So I'm going to say this. Yes, some modern cars today look totally non-distinctive from each other, as per Kurdan's rounded ass example.
Yes.
Cars today look very similar. In fact, we're at an engineering plateau. Plateau being a sense of design and engineering aspect of things. There's nothing innovative anymore. It's there. It's all design cues are all being rehashed over and over again. There's going to be very, very few new bits that's going to wow someone that has never been done before. Whereas you make a mention that a lot of Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, Hyundais, Kias, they all look similar. Yes, they got their own distinctive styling, but when you squint and look at them, they don't look all that different in shape, in general shape, in certain styles. And
another
whatnot.
Great example, too, not to cut you off, but to cut you off, Jeeps.
Jeeps never really looked at all, but they're all blocks.
Jeeps always had a very distinct, unmistakable shape.
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
You knew that it was a Jeep.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the very few cars where you know that's a Jeep and you couldn't confuse it for anything else.
And now it blends right in with everything else.
Yeah. Now, from other time periods, are there other distinct cars from other time periods? Oh, yes, most certainly. I think that issue has maybe always existed, and we tend to be critical of it then and be critical of it now.
Bug, the Beetle.
Oh, yeah. For the longest time, the Volkswagen Beetle looked identical for almost 40, 50 years. Oh. And then the new Bug. Then that new Bug, or the new Beetle, as it's actually called, but people just call it the Beetle, has only had 2 generations since the original rear-wheel drive hippie Bug.
Hippie.
And while each design is drastically different from the original, they all follow a similar shape.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but sometimes to have a heritage design like that is not a bad thing. It's actually, it's nice to have a throwback. However, let's talk about cookie cutter. A lot of people think the Chevy Cavalier, the Pontiac Sunfire, J2000, Oldsmobile Friends, Buick Skyhawk, and Cadillac Cimarron all look the same, and in fact, they're not. Yes, the basis on which these cars are based on are fully identical. However, when you look at the distinctive styling of each car, you can tell that there's actual differences between the front and rear ends.
Yeah.
They're each identically unique styles. If you looked only at the ass and the front of the car, they're different. Everything else is the same, but that's because it's meant to be. It's meant to be for mass production. But even those cars are distinctive. Yeah. Here's one car that's a good example that is old, that should be distinctive, but really isn't, is the Dodge Omni and the Plymouth Horizon. So much so, in the brochures, they use the same car for each brochure.
No.
So much so that the badging is the only thing different from interior and exterior view of that car. Beyond that, there is nothing to differentiate besides taillights and badging, which can be easily swapped. Means that these cars, even back then, were non-distinctive. Much like today, where some cars are fully distinct in their engineering. They're meant to be different.
That probably saved money on product.
Oh, it did, because Chrysler was circling the toilets then. In that case, modern cars all have to look unique in their own way, which is great. Makes them look special, makes them look unique and whatnot, different. Okay, I give them that. But they all still look very much the same, because the styling hasn't really advanced all that much. we're pretty much right where cars are going to be for the next 10, 15, 20 years in its styling, unless you do something completely alien that's supposed to, change the way how we see a car.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think people would rather like to see what they've been seeing for a long time, this gradual evolution. And you know what? I don't think it's going to change. In a lot of cases, they don't look bad. They're just very, very boring to look at. Whereas cars back in the 1990s and 80s and even early 2000s, all were distinctive and all were different in their way. Granted, they may be bland, but they were unique and special in a different way or another. 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, they all had their own distinct styling. Yeah, they all looked similar, but you can tell between a Chevy and a Ford. It becomes an issue when you remove the badges of cars. Then if you're not a car person and you had to find out which one's a Ford and which one's a Chevy, people are going to have a hard time. Now you get everything from one brand, and now you say, okay, now name this model of this brand.
Yep.
Even worse, because they all look somewhat the same. It's called design language. It's there for a purpose, but also any bit of uniqueness is out the window because it follows a certain template of what it should be. So.
Yeah.
So yes, King, we have answered your question, and we think that modern cars, in a sense, are somewhat unique, but they all look the same. But that may not be a bad thing. It's just they're not remarkable. Whereas way back then, cars may look similar, but they have their own distinct styling cues that set them apart.
Yeah.
That was distinctly them. Nowadays, everything's been done, so there's no hard feelings if something looks the same again. I don't know. That's just the way how I see it.
Yeah.
People will say something might look like a Cadillac and looks like a Chevy, and you're looking at a Cavalier and a Cimarron of the 1980s, and that's a stab in the eye for Cadillac owners that wanted something special. Oh, and you're going to rebadge a Chevy Cavalier as a Cadillac? No way. Well, they did. While it didn't work out so well, it was still distinctive anyway. There were still changes in a lot of what the cars were. They were not bolt for bolt a Cavalier all through. Some parts were unchangeable. Some aren't. Yeah, I'd say modern cars could be pleasant to look at, but nothing exciting.
Yep.
So,
going back to this past crazy month,
I do too, Alpha.
Yep.
The preferring the old classic styling of cars from years back.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I think older cars, which maybe me growing up would have said different. Now, being a bit older now, I've come to terms that these cars actually age quite well.
I mean, I just glance over and look at all the brochures that you've collected. That speaks for itself.
Yeah, and even if these cars didn't change year by year, they all looked different and unique in their own way.
And beyond that, it's fun to see the evolution of the designs of each car.
Yeah. Unless you're into Omni and Horizon changes, which there weren't any.
Yep.
Literally, taillights, grille, that was it. Nothing else changed about the cars in 13 years. They never did change once. Not once. Colors, yeah. Interior, nope. Exterior, nope. The taillights changed only in style, but the shapes were identical. Is that pickles?
No.
Oh, pickled jalapeno peppers.
Mm-hmm.
Do those have a lot of seeds in them? Because that's what really hurts.
No, they really don't. Some of them have none.
You know what? I'll have one with you. But yeah, like going back with those brochures, there's a lot of cool things about cars. Now let's just...
They are spicy, though.
Okay.
But they're yummy. Yeah.
Holy cow. I do like peppers. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Homemade nachos.
There we go.
You're welcome.
Mm. Yeah, but pretty much for older cars, they're timeless because after a while, it's like a fine wine. Cars eventually come back around in value because all of a sudden they become valuable to some degree or another.
Mhm.
They were once seen as yesterday's junk and now are tomorrow's treasure. Today, they're seen as a regular car. However, one day, any nice car will have their day.
Do you know what I'm waiting to see?
What?
Here's something I've thought about too. Ever since the PT Cruiser came out,
Which I thought were cool.
I thought they were too, but I also kind of turned my nose up at it because of the whole old-ish design. What I'm waiting to see, and this is, you mark my words, eventually companies are going to do this. They're going to revisit the most popular retro versions of their cars by re-releasing that old model body style.
So wait. I'm trying to understand that. They're gonna go with retro looks.
Yes, like a Chevy Cavalier. Like maybe
And then
they'll re-release the
So
Chevy
it's actually
Cavalier.
a throwback of what things were.
Right. Because people loved it so much.
I mean, in a case, the modern Camaro
Right.
is a throwback of its old shape from
Right.
67 to 69. They could have gone into more. They're okay. They say that the Camaro is losing sales because it's being hammered by the Charger and the Mustang. To be honest, there were other styles of the Camaro that also existed, and they're too focused on the 67 to 69 body style that they're doing a retro re-release on.
Mm-hmm.
1970 to 82 was actually another good style too. That is the quintessential Camaro. That's how Camaro became popular in its own right. Was that the second generation?
What's the two-door Toyota that I had?
You had a Toyota Corolla SR5.
Yeah.
That was rear-wheel drive.
With 2 doors with the seats that had to flip forward so that the people could get in the back seat.
Yep.
They don't have that anymore.
No, actually, you don't see any coupes anymore.
No.
And there are a few manufacturers that make cars
Because they're
sedans because now everyone's got to have an SUV or a crossover.
Yep. So going back to this crazy month.
Okay. Yes.
I've been going through it with my phone.
Yes. You've had a bad month with your phone.
Bad month with my phone. Long story short, because of my job and what I do, I'm allowed to have music on as long as it's really low. And I play video game music while I'm stocking produce.
And it's entertaining.
And it's entertaining. And I stuff my phone in my vest pocket so that it's there with me and only I can really hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically 2 years of having this phone, 2.5 years I think I've had it now.
And that's your favorite phone, right?
Yeah. But every time I put it into my pocket, it would lint and cheap fabrics would get stuffed up into the
ports.
The charging port.
Your phone's holes.
My phone's holes. And it kept getting packed up in there to the point where it would charge the phone, but it wouldn't connect to my PC as a, right there.
That was mostly all gin and less tonic.
Ugh, maybe put more tonic in.
Maybe.
So I couldn't connect my phone as a storage device to my computer. I went through the process of calling both the manufacturer and my provider, and both of them kept sending me to the other one. So it was like provider kept sending me to the manufacturer, and manufacturer kept suggesting me back to the provider.
Yeah.
And each one would then say, you need to factory reset the phone.
Thinking that it might help reset, allow you to then gain access to your phone for some reason or another.
I should have just waited and gone to the store to begin with, because I luckily found somebody who was able to literally dig inside the port and get all the
fuzzies out.
All the fuzzies. They were so minuscule, so tiny, but they were blocking it from connecting. It was crazy.
This is actually maybe a fun PSA on this episode. When you have a hard time accessing your phone, or if your phone is failing to charge, perhaps, it's possible that there might be crap inside the hole.
Yep.
And you may just need to take it to a mall. Like, where did you go?
I went to a Verizon store.
Okay, so go to a provider or any mall that has a provider. Go to them and say, hey, look, I have this issue. It's in the ports. Can you clean it? You might be able to save your phone and save money.
Yeah.
And
I was ready to buy a new phone.
Yes. Yeah.
I was this close.
That's always strange.
So, yes, it is. But yeah, I lost everything because I did try factory resetting 2 times. Factory resetted,
and it didn't work.
And I lost, contacts and all that can be stored in the cloud, so no big deal. Accounts, apps, that can all come back.
Mm-hmm.
But the notes that I've been keeping for the last 10 years,
mm-hmm.
movies I want to watch, video games I need to play,
right?
People's birth dates that I kept in this notepad, all gone.
Personal information.
Yep, all gone. I'll go bye-bye. A little mad about that.
Oh.
I actually meant to ask you something too, because I did ask you once.
Yes.
But I didn't ask you again. Have you tried the Method Men soap that I have in the shower?
Yes, yes.
It's good, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah.
The one that's meant to be for purple hair?
No.
Oh.
That's shampoo. The body wash, the Method. It looks like a very generic bottle with an M on it.
I've actually used it, and it is quite nice.
Good.
So obviously I got hair cut because after a while...
This episode not brought to you by Method Men.
Method Men. So now in the past month, so I started off my new schedule 2 weeks ago. Been happy about that since. I hope to keep bidding into it because you know what? Human beings are very habitual people.
Yes, we are.
And we like to stick within something that we reasonably are very familiar with. So no change is better than change to our degree, or in our sense of mind. And, ooh, yes. I'm going to burn my face again. I like jalapeno peppers, but oh boy. Spicy going in. And they're going to be spicy coming out. So nearly all the people that got schedules picked the same schedule that I knew them for the past 7 months. They didn't change theirs.
Of course not. Once you get used to a schedule, you kind of want to stick to it.
Yeah. And my first pick was 401, which is the schedule I'm on now. You're allowed 6 schedules to pick, and based on seniority, you'll get whichever one that comes in first.
So basically what? Nobody picked the route you wanted?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think the 28 people, oh boy, ghost peppers. Oh. But all the people above me, very, very few switched to different routes. But a lot of them stuck with the same route.
That's interesting.
As you mentioned, people would rather stick with the same schedule that they've had.
Of course.
And
because we're creatures of habit.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do that too. Here, give me a chip. And when they tell me, wow, man, you got really lucky. Because someone probably would have picked that before you did. Well, apparently, but no one did. And you know what? I hope I stick with it because I can get used to this.
Yeah.
Like,
That's great.
I hope I can stick on it, but you know what? Even
Mm.
if it's for a year, this upcoming year is going to be fantastic.
You got your weekends back.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 68 degrees. It's perfect for suit weather. I can totally agree with that.
True. I thought about that.
So with that,
I
with
thought about
schedule,
first shooting at my store.
So with that, let's talk about this past month. So how about let's talk with you about your job with this past week without your coworker who's been gone since Saturday.
We lost Lauren. I miss her.
Mm.
She's my buddy.
Did you go to another store or did you go to an entirely different company?
Different company. She's literally taking apart things, cleaning them, reassembling them, then taking another thing, taking it apart, cleaning it all out, reassembling it. That's her new job.
You know what? It's probably better for her.
She got weekends. She goes in a little bit later. She gets out at 2 instead of 1. So it's good for her. She doesn't like people, but she's honestly a really fun person. And I know she misses me.
Like I miss a lot of my old coworkers at my last job.
I mean,
don't miss the work environment, but
right.
I miss the people I did work with.
Right. Especially when you can have fun and stay productive, like we did.
Better. That's actually better. I should have added more tonic.
Yeah. I mean, we're stuck listening to. Well, we did have our phones, but at some point we lose connection to Wi-Fi. So we're stuck listening to Walmart radio, and we're listening to.
I'm surprised they gave you the Wi-Fi connection.
That's free.
Considering Walmart, you would think people would fuck off and do their own thing, which they do anyway.
They do. I mean, but they're all about technology as well, too. Just the cheapest version of it.
Right.
But I mean, like we're literally stuck in our giant cooler, stuck listening to Tears for Fears, sowing the seeds of love.
Shout, let it all out.
We sow the seeds of love instead, though.
Aww.
So we would sow the seeds of love daily. And then it wasn't enough to hear it on Walmart radio. Then she would pull her phone out, go on YouTube and play it again. Just because she loved like making fun of it. And the video is so weird. They have like an opera lady wearing a Viking hat that pops out of the corner of the screen. I mean, it's a weird video. Tears for Fears was a weird band. Is a weird band. I don't know. Are they still around?
I don't know if they're together.
I may have to research that and see if they're even still around.
I don't think they're together, but I'm sure probably the main members are probably still alive.
I mean, Depeche Mode's still around. They're still making music.
Oh yeah.
So there are other bands that are from that same era.
They're kind of like a Rush band where they're together for so long. They don't ever fall apart because they're just they get along with each other so well. There's a lot of cohesion that there is no way that they could split.
Even like modern day bands like Shiny Toy Gun, they haven't put out an album in 9 years.
Didn't they just get back together, but they have not put out any?
They got together, they put out one album, and now we haven't heard from them in 8 or 9 years.
And then they got back together again.
Well, no, that was after they got back together.
Oh.
Well, they got the original singer back, which I'm guessing that things didn't work out because she's been putting out music on her own again. I've been doing research, and Kara's doing music.
So they split up again without saying they split up.
My mind is exploding with the drama from them. I feel like she needs a new manager.
Mm-hmm.
They just tell her just to stick with it. You have got to stay with this band because they work so well together musically. I'm sure that they have their differences. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. Everybody does. Oh, but my God, just at least get one Emmy, for God's sakes, as a band. Make your mark.
They've never had an Emmy.
They've really never been nominated. They've always been kind of a sub-genre band, even though people have heard of Shiny Toy Guns. I'm sure King Alpha has heard of Shiny Toy Guns.
I want them to chase the EGOT like Tracy Morgan. Man, I want an EGOT from 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Well, does he have an EGOT? Damn it. Hey, I can ask things for any time. No, how did that? Oh, my God. 30 Rock was a fantastic show. With Tracy Morgan, oh, my God. That guy is always a firecracker.
He's a nut.
He is a nut, but I love him for it, though. Ooh, yes.
Where was I going with that? I don't know. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating. I'm on Facebook Date. So if you're on Facebook,
You'll find a picture of a cat.
you'll find a picture of a cat. In fact, you won't just find a picture of a cat. You'll find a picture of many cats.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
If you follow my Twitter, I have screenshots of probably 5 or 10 cats, like actual cats.
Yeah.
On Facebook Date.
That's funny. That's funny that people are going along with that.
Like their profile picture is literally their cat.
You should do one of Sylvester.
I should.
It's like, hey,
I'll probably get hit up more often.
Because he's adorable.
Because he's a handsome cat.
He is very. You know what? Yeah, you should probably do that.
But with that said, I went out on this date. It was just coffee.
Was this recent?
Yeah. A week from this past Saturday.
Okay.
No, a week from this past Sunday. It'll be 2 weeks this coming Sunday. We just got coffee in some little place. It wasn't a Starbucks or anything. It was what's a Milwaukee area only coffee type place?
Collectivo?
Yes, it was.
They make good coffee.
They do. And I had a something from them. I don't remember.
And I believe they've unionized too.
I don't remember.
They became the coffee worker collective, or no, I know that somewhere in Milwaukee there's a set of companies or a company that's wide, where all of its workers behind the counter all unionized and became a union, which is fantastic.
Their Sunday hours, they close at like 4:00.
To be honest,
in the afternoon.
On Sundays, you should really be home anyway to relax anyway.
But it's a weekend. This is your busiest time because everybody else is not working.
That's true.
So if a smart company were doing that, they would take advantage of that and stay open a little bit longer. So we were there for probably about a half hour, 45 minutes past their closing time.
Aww.
They weren't happy with us. Steve went to use the bathroom and they were like, no, you can't use our bathroom. You guys have to leave.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, you could have said something to us like 15, 20 minutes ago.
You should have said that something like, hey, we should have closed like 10 minutes ago.
We were sitting in their dining room. They never ever said anything to us.
And you were there an hour and a half above.
Not an hour and a half.
Oh.
Like a half hour, 45 minutes. Maybe.
Oh. No, at that point,
they were still doing closing duties. They were still cleaning.
At that point, I would say, hey, we should be, hey, we should have closed like 10 minutes ago. I'll give you like 5 minutes, but you have to leave.
Right. Make an announcement.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're the last two people in there.
Or even still, you want to be a nice guy and say, hey, we should have closed like 10 minutes ago. I'll give you guys 10 minutes to do what you need to do. If you need to use the restroom or whatnot, but you need to leave within 10 minutes.
You have to, and this is me probably sounding like a broken record at work, communicate. Communicate to your customers, communicate to your coworkers, whatever. Just communicate. You can't just sit there and assume people know.
Mm-hmm.
I've given myself 2 haircuts
And they look good.
in the past month and a half.
Ah,
Yeah, like literally.
the cat is grooming himself like a cat should.
I literally combed hair and cut it. So
And
yeah,
cat is doing very good.
I think I'm doing it. I think I'm okay.
I mean, if I cut my hair, I'd be bald. Knowing me,
I don't have the thing sticking out.
I have a reverse mohawk.
I don't have the wings sticking out at the back.
I am Guadalcanal and my Henderson Field. I made that up. There is no such thing.
No.
But I could make it a thing.
But it's a nice haircut.
It is.
It's
and I got
going
this
out nicely.
because reenacting this past month. And after nearly 2 years absence from my reenacting group, I finally went out in the last 2 weeks, back-to-back reenacting events.
How did that feel?
It felt fucking amazing. I can't wait to go to a convention just to have the same feeling. However, due to which I can talk more about my reenactments in a bit, but I was thinking about doing a quadrifer, but I might be doing something in 2 weeks that might financially put me back just a little. Actually, no, who knows? That may not actually be the case. But I might be buying a time machine.
What?
And it's going to make my grandparents scream. Get a nod from my dad, but total confusion from my mom.
Is it a hot tub time machine?
No, actually, a lot of people would be okay with that, but that may be the next big purchase. But I'm traveling to Missouri.
Misery.
To Missouri to go take a look at it and take a test drive.
So what is this car you're buying?
Okay, so I have found an 87 Cavalier.
Oh, God.
That is in fantastic shape. That had been owned by a little old lady since new.
How?
Well, she had passed on, and this is the second owner, but they hadn't done much to it. But really,
how much are they asking for this car?
$2,000.
I can't believe that.
Looks,
What year?
87 looks brand new, and get this. I've been joking to myself for the last 2 months that I would find a two-tone brown Cavalier on the outside and a brown interior. This is what the car is.
No.
It is literally light brown upper with a dark brown lower paint job on the outside, straight from the factory. It's two-tone. Two-tone paint job with a nice camel brown interior. The amount of brown is reaching 70s level, but this is 1987. So, in that case, the 70s is very much alive in this car.
The shit era.
And
where literally everything was the color of shit.
The car not only has no rust on it, because the guy sent me photos. This car looks beautiful. It's a sedan, which these cars never survived.
So whose car is this going to be?
Oh, it's going to be mine.
Where are you going to keep it?
In the garage.
This garage?
Yeah.
So you're going to put your car outside?
Yes. At least for the winter, yeah. And this car is fully loaded.
You want to zoom to car shows with this.
I do. I want to confuse people why an 80s Cavalier survived while someone looking at a 56 Thunderbird, and now there's an 80s Cavalier parked next to it, so I can piss people off and
you better be in fursuit at car shows with this.
Oh, I will be. And I will be taking so many vaporwave photos with this car. This car's got every known option.
I'll take every photo.
Aw.
You have to be in fursuit for all of them.
That's perfectly fine. This car has every option known to a Cavalier, minus the sunroof and alloy wheels. So it got even power locks and power windows, which in my family has had 5 Cavaliers. None of them have ever had those features. I should show you photos afterwards.
That thing was all decked out for its era.
The only thing that does not work on this whole car is the air conditioner. Beyond that, the car is fully functional. And
Not surprised.
since the car sat for a while with the old lady, when the new owner drove the car, which I'm sure they only had for only a year, so this car has been with this lady since brand new, they blew the engine. So what they did, they took it to a Chevy dealership. They went out to a junkyard to find the nicest, cleanest engine, paid used prices for it, rebuilt it, put in a new head gasket and thermostat. This man that I might be buying this car off on is such a legend. He paid $3,000 in repairs for a car that he's selling for a lot less.
Why would you do that?
Because some people think that a car is worth saving, and you know what?
But I mean, what I mean is, why would you sell it for so little?
Probably because he didn't know that if he can get that much money from it.
You're selling it for more than it's worth, then.
Actually, you'd sell it for more than it's worth after how much you put into it, but I don't know how much he paid for the car. He may have gotten.
I'm sorry, I worded that wrong. This is drunk cab.
Mm-hmm.
He's selling it for way less than what it's worth.
Right now, as far as its maintenance, so it's got
like,
a whole,
I wouldn't ask for anything less than $5,000 or $6,000 for it.
Right now, yes, but the braking system's been redone. The engine is totally tip-top shape.
That way, he at least gets the money back out of as far as like what
the thing is, though, I don't think he ever will, unless you sell it for a song at that point. It's got all new fluids. It's got the head gasket that they normally go out in. This car is beautiful. The only thing that looks awful on it are the hubcaps, which are aftermarket and chrome.
You can find replacements on that.
I could find originals.
You're at a junkyard dog.
I could put one of these on. This is an actual Cavalier hubcap. And they'll literally just smack on. You just literally smack the thing on the wheel and that's it. You don't do anything about it. So that's my next time machine, and I'm not buying any more cars after that, because it's just a Skylark for other car shows and other family gatherings. The Cavalier, I plan on using it as like a somewhat semi-summer car, taking it to work, doing family gatherings, drive around. It's a car that I can drive around, not fear people looking at it in envy. Except for other nerds. They will be the only envious ones. And if it comes with me on the 3rd, I'll probably have the nicest 87 Cavalier sedan in the state, which actually isn't saying much because there's not many of them left here anyway. So, yeah.
That's saying a lot, actually.
That is saying a lot because there's not many of them around, period. There is not any of them around. I haven't seen an 87 sedan or any Cavalier sedan.
Have you ever thought about taking the Buick to the car show?
I have. I just haven't gotten it insured. But this upcoming summer, I would not mind taking it.
Does it have to be insured to be in the show?
No, but just for my own protection. In case I get rear-ended or I rear-end someone else.
Yeah.
Which I'd rather be... No, I would not be hit at all because that would total... I don't know if it would total the car, but... It would be hard to restore it afterwards. It almost actually it would be totaled because it would exceed the whole cost of the car.
Yeah.
And at that point, that'd be loss of a family heirloom. But yeah, it's nice to have insurance.
I would still love to see that car show up at a show.
Next year, I actually want to take the Skylark out to a show, and when I get this Cavalier, I'm going to be taking that to shows too, just to confuse and enrage people. But you know what? You'll never see another Cavalier at a show. But, yeah. So on the 3rd, I'm going down south. And down south to me is Missouri, apparently. And I'm going to test drive a car that apparently this guy's a good guy, actually. He spent $3,000 on a Cavalier, and he bought it for his daughter, which I don't think cares about the car so much. But the car is in fantastic shape. Paint's still there. Just a really nice car. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a ton of 80s vaporwave photos in the years to come with this car. I want to find some nice neon lights, go to it, take some nice pictures in fursuit. It's going to be a fun time. So,
Yep.
So that's my plan in a week and a half.
I have one other thing about work.
Yes,
I
please.
don't want to make this a whole thing about work, but so to replace our our Lauren, we've got this guy who was a front door
Counter,
greeter person.
which does not sound very
Promising. He went from front door to claims, which is all the stuff that gets returned that has to be repackaged somehow and sent back to either a vendor or sent back to our distribution center
to get reconditioned.
or refurbished or whatever they do with them. And I think we all kind of guess the reason he's not doing that anymore is because there's a lady that works back there that nobody likes. And I've had run-ins with her. I have no problem with her.
Isn't she the HR person or no? No.
She was.
Actually, the person that you wanted to get into her department.
She was in HR years ago.
Oh.
And everybody talked about her like she was horrible. I've never had a problem with her. Anyway, it's different when you work with somebody as opposed to just be social with them.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted out of there, so he's up in produce with us. And my first day working with him was a good experience. Well, obviously, it's like his first day up there. He's not going to remember everything.
No.
Because we are creatures of habit, you build familiarity through repetition, through doing the same thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
If you, for 2 weeks, are working with all these boxes that just look like, boxes that they have words on them, but it doesn't really click what it is until you realize, oh, shredded iceberg lettuce is one of our biggest sellers.
So you're saying that this job, you need the requirement to read?
Yes.
Okay.
You realize that, oh, shredded iceberg lettuce is one of our biggest sellers. You can almost guarantee that 2 or 3 of these boxes are going to go immediately onto the shelf. Everything else will go into our back stock.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes time. You have to be working with them on a daily basis. Repetition builds familiarity.
Right.
I got to point to that. Oh, so today it was all 3 of us, me, Carol, and Brian.
And you mentioned, not to interrupt you, but you mentioned that Carol is slowly warming up to you.
Slowly. And she has her off days. The best thing to do with her is just not to take things personal.
Right.
Because she's very much not a people person. She also doesn't train well. She was complaining to me that the stuff he was asking about today, he worked with her yesterday. She said he retained nothing. And I'm thinking, lady, that was his second day here. You're going to ask questions again.
Yeah.
I'd rather that they keep asking than just guess and get it wrong. So we go through our morning, do our morning routine. All's good. Few things don't make it out. No big deal. Goes into back stock.
That all settled.
Yeah, you got to stir. You have to mix. They separate. Second portion of our day is to pull everything out that's been sitting back in that cooler for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back there. I swear to God, he's going back and forth. And I'm thinking to myself, first I was like, wow, he's all over the place back there, zooming back and forth. And then I'm like, hey, Brian, what are you doing? He's like, I'm fixing dates. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm making sure that all the oldest stuff is in the front. I'm like, there's no point right now because we're going to be pulling everything out of the way and pulling all the stuff from today and putting that back in there. I'm like, at that point, he'd just be doing double work because you're going to be moving everything around anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol has not said shit to him. She's just letting him do whatever. This is her way of training somebody by not saying anything and just watching him flailing around back there like an idiot.
So, if she were a D&D character, she'd be chaotic neutral.
Yes.
Let
them just get themselves killed and just sit there and watch it happen. Literally. So I start pulling stuff out. I'm like, well, I know these envy apples can come out and these gala apples can come out. I'm handing them boxes and doing that. Finally, she looks at me and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I am handing him boxes
to do something with.
And she's like, Bob said he should be. And mind you, Brian is right over here.
So he can.
He's 2 feet away, looking at me, looking at her, looking at me. And she says to me, what are you doing? I'm like, talk to him. He's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear she was lying because she was like, Bob said he's supposed to be working all this stuff. I'm like, well, then tell him that. But don't let him just sit back here flailing around. It was the dumbest moment I've had in a while.
That sounded like it.
It was so stupid. Because she was literally, before that, she hadn't said anything to him. I could tell because he was back there rearranging stuff. And, oh, this is the 17th, and this is the 19th. Oh, the 19th is supposed to be underneath the 17th. So the 17th comes out early. FIFO, first in, first out.
Yep.
You know how it works.
Be glad it's not LIFO, last in, first out.
Oh, God.
That's a rare system of doing things, is LIFO. God. Be glad that the world is running on FIFO, yeah.
But she literally was letting him get himself killed, just watching it happen.
I can imagine him being like on the ground. And just like, oh, what happened to him? He got killed by Walmart.
And yelling at me about it. Like, Joe, how could you let this happen? How could you let him die? I don't know. You know, I went on break for 10 minutes and I come back and this chaos is going on.
Yeah.
I can't wait till it's just me and him again because, man, we got it done.
Mm-hmm.
Because I communicate. She actually in the year and 2 months I've been there, she communicated to me more today on what she was doing earlier in the day than she has all this whole time we've worked together. Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to take this stuff to the back room. She never talks like that. She never communicates. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. It's so weird. Working with the vibe with her is always so off. I guarantee that tomorrow Brian is going to be like, I see what you mean. Because I warned him, I'm like, she's a little bit different to work with. Mm-hmm. She kind of lets you do your own thing and expects you to do your half of the work and does not say shit.
All right, King. It's glad to have you on board once again after so long waiting. I'm glad that you're able to attend yet another podcast of ours. So again, you are our #1 fan. So always,
fan.
He is actually probably our only fan we've ever had.
Yep.
Probably the biggest,
and the brightest,
and asks us the best questions.
Yep.
So you take care of yourself, King, and we will catch you next time. Oh, see, he gave us quintuple hearts. That's some mighty love right there. And then you're getting the gradual cat face into the cat.
Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk about.
Cat face.
All the cat face videos.
Oh yeah.
Remember all the residual or the suddenly cat YouTube videos?
Yes.
I just got this idea for people working out and their cats just getting in the way.
Yeah.
Literally, all of a sudden, cat face.
You're
Like,
talking to a police
right.
officer on the street. Cat face.
Yep.
There needs to be more moments like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think the world can be a better place if suddenly cat. Just like, I have a poos. I don't know where it came from, but
The cat that kept knocking over his owner's camera.
Yeah, that's adorable. Like,
He was so adorable.
Ho, 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 ho,
And he's just
ho,
like,
ho,
no.
ho, and then boom. Yeah.
He's like, no, we don't want to see that.
Boom. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like
Twice.
a simple swat twice, like and then just.
It's like, this isn't supposed to be here. Get it out of here.
You know what's amazing about cats is that they have the cutest swat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, boom. Yeah. They swat the most adorable.
Sylvester is a very cute swat.
He has a very cute swat.
Strong swat.
Very strong swat, and with claws.
Yep.
Sometimes with claws.
Yeah, I've got scars all over the place from him.
I got scars from 2 cats on me, and it's.
Yeah. Yep.
Used to have a scar from a cat from 10, 20 years ago, and it's finally now gone.
Still faint.
Yeah, you see that one right there?
Yeah.
Yep. That one was from almost 20 years ago.
It's like this C here that I have.
Oh.
It's a C.
Oh, that. Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder where that's from.
That's from Kevin in art school.
That's not a cat at all.
No, well, he was kind of a cat. He had an X-Acto knife, and he kept going like this with it. Yeah, I was like, stop it.
Was this in college?
Yes. And he went, and it cut a C, and my skin made it was like a little flap door. It was like opening and shutting.
I think it was this dude right here. I went to a Halloween party at Rusty's, and one of my friends, Corey, also known as Eddie Democross, who is longtime friends of both me and my mates, and he showed me his homemade axe, which was literally made out of like thick.
For a second, I thought you said ass. His homemade ass.
His homemade ass is quite nice, but
wow,
a lot of hair though.
Nice big pepper.
A lot of ass. At least you're not Filthy Frank, who eats nothing but ass.
I love Filthy Frank.
I eat ass. I eat a lot of ass. From black to brown to Asian, I eat a lot of ass. I eat so much ass, it's affected my nutrition. Or something like that. Oh my God, it's a good song. And he hands me his homemade axe. Ass. Which is literally made out of a sheet of thick steel that he chopped, cut, and profiled to a throwing axe. So he handed me the blade and like, oh, wow, I'm actually doing this pretty good. Well, I didn't think of this. I handed him the axe handle first.
Oop.
However, the curve of the axe was rounding the top of my dick. Oh, wow. That's wow. You know what? It was about time we got someone weird like that on our show.
Thank God.
But anyway, so the axe blade was actually literally wrapping above the palm of my hand. So he yanked it away, and the point dug into my arm, lifted the skin, punctured it, and then I literally like went forward and back.
Ow.
It came close enough that in the flap I can see my tendon. So here I am, drunk at this Halloween party and whatnot, and Rusty's boyfriend at the time, actually her now husband, Zip, who is used to be Army, but now he's in the reserves. He says, oh, well, I can fix this up. And he got a needle and some thread, and he was going to actually do like a military style stitch right on the spot. And here I am, like, already buzzed as hell. So at this point, I didn't care because, you know what, it's going to have to happen anyway. And so, okay, you're ready? And like, okay, let me swig this a bit more. So I was swigging in one eye. Okay, yeah, you're good to go. Then he does this and like, and like, oh, I was expecting actually you to do the thing. I was actually expecting him to sew the small amount of skin that got punctured, which actually, you know what, was inside my skin. And the more that I was using my arm, flipped out. Yeah, I became a lot more careful in life since then. Oh boy. Corey is awesome, the rockin' beard and whatnot, just chisel Viking beard. Fucking point-ass beard! Which he keeps telling me I should have a beard, grow a beard. But the thing is...
He also gets on Ben about cleaning his beard.
Oh, no, he gets hard on cleaning his... Oh,
I'm sorry, but you know what?
You don't like beards?
Take care of it.
Oh, yeah, what?
Wash it.
You have to maintain a beard by washing it and trimming it to make it nice. Where he had a scraggly beard, and then all of a sudden he went from scraggly beard to fucking Norwegian steel chisel beard.
I like Ben, but wash that fucking beard.
Oh, Gordy?
Wash that beard, man.
Gordy? Oh, Gordy, you've been called out. You gotta wash that beard.
I'm sorry.
I don't think he has a beard right now, though, but...
he does.
He actually still does? I can't remember.
He has a chin strap.
He has a chin... And, I like I use that terminology, the high school chin strap. Oh, my God, I forgot about that. I'm going to have a...
Wash that shit, man.
Oh.
If I can smell you across the room...
No, his beard didn't smell like that.
Yes, it did.
Really?
Yeah. When I hugged him...
His beard smelled like his pubes.
The hairs on my face stood up. At that point, I wanted to take a shampoo bottle
and just apply it directly into his beard.
Yep, and just lather that shit up.
You know what? Just do that to him next time. Like,
hey, I am.
I'm gonna wash your beard for you.
I'm not gonna tell him. I'm just gonna squirt shampoo on him, and he'll residually have to wash it out. It's not even a washout. You're gonna put the he'll literally have a thick line of shampoo throughout his entire strap.
Gordy, you're gonna get soap and shampoo in your beard. The experience might be strange, but you might enjoy it. And apparently, to Kurdan, your beard will smell amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually notice it the last time.
He'll get laid then.
Aw.
Otherwise, sorry, no thanks, no can do.
Is this a double-decker?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my God.
There's a huge pepper. I was like, this needs more chip and more cheese. You're welcome. Also, with that being said, oh, no, that's it.
Oh, my God.
Probably a good thing I didn't try harder.
Oh, my God.
Oh. The day that I was training Brian, I was in the shitter for 20 minutes. I took 4 shits. I literally would take a shit. I'd sit there and wait for a minute. I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. All right.
And then, like,
wipe. As soon as I wiped once, I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Oh, my God.
Wait another minute. All right, I think we're good. Wipe once. Another shit. By the third one, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm not going to waste any more toilet paper. If it takes a wipe to inspire my ass to push out another piece of shit.
Oh, my God. Why? Why?
Finally, I get done. I get back to the back room. Joe! I'm like, oh, crap.
Don't go in that bathroom.
Don't go in that bathroom.
We lost all of our
A cat's
viewers.
been in there.
Yeah. It's just a litter box, a bunch of brown. This used to be all littered. Now it's all brown.
Where's the litter?
Oh my God, where's the litter?
Yep. You almost shit yourself.
Oh, dude.
While you were in the bus?
While I was in my bus about to leave the lot, I decided, I feel something brewing. It might be a fart. I may as well.
Farts don't brew.
Well,
Farts don't brew.
Maybe. I don't know. But there I am sitting in my bus, about 6 minutes before I have to pull out. And I decide to fart. And a small amount of something came out. And I immediately whoop, okay, no, I'm getting the fuck out. I'm going to the bathroom while I'm still here. And no, actually, no, it wasn't that bad. But holy cow, that was the first time when you shart in a long time. You're like, God damn it, I have to do this all over again. And no, actually, I saved myself that day. It wasn't that bad. That was funny because if that happened as soon as I left the lot, they'd be like, oh, well, you know what? This is going to be an awful day ahead.
You're lucky.
Jesus Christ.
Because once it touches fabric, then you're fucked. You can catch it before it touches the fabric.
Oh, yeah.
Your ass cheeks literally have to stop it. No.
It's like an iron dam of flesh.
They're like, your ass cheeks are like the Gandalf. Stopping
Your shit shall
stopping
not pass.
You shall not shut.
Imagine if that's what Gandalf does in your bathroom. You shall not shart. Ah! I mean, that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty funny.
I thought so.
So, okay. So things happen at reenactments recently that involves shit, at least on this one. At Lockport, which is my unit organization's event that we host. So it's kind of like a convention, but a reenactment.
Yeah.
So we run the whole thing. It's Saturday night. Me, Rich, and a fellow member named Garrett. We're sitting around the fire. We're just talking about stuff, catching back after the last 2 years of me being inactive in the hobby. Decide to chat with the guys and whatnot. At 1 o'clock, actually from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning, we talked. That's on top of me doing my very final Saturday where I had been up 2 o'clock the day before. So I don't know why I'm still awake.
That's a long ass day. At that point, you were literally overtired.
Oh, yeah. So much so that I suddenly became awake.
Yep. I've been there.
And we're just talking about stuff. And at Lockport World War II Days, which is now Lockport Military Heritage Days now, we not only have Vietnam, not only do we have World War II Pacific, as well as World War II Europe, we now have Civil War as part of our daily agenda of scheduled events. As we were talking, some Confederate dude just plops down right next to me and pulls out his revolver and he hands it to me to show me. Like, oh, okay, well, this is not normally the thing that we tend to do, but okay, all right. I'm looking at a. Oh, cool. Hey, welcome back, Alpha. Welcome back. So glad that you're able to come back. So there I am, being handed a Colt Army revolver from the Civil War. I'm looking at it in the file. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. I hand it back to him, and he put it back and whatnot. Puts his hat down. So us, reenactors from World War II on the German side, and
he missed the whole shit segment.
He did, but he can watch that back.
Oh, he can watch that.
Well, once the video.
Oh yeah.
So it's me, Rich, Garrett, and now this Confederate Civil War reenactor dude that plopped down next to us. We're talking about embarrassing moments. Garrett's talking about, his job where he works at a local, quite literally 10 minutes away from the actual event where it happens in Lockport, Illinois, is a golf course that he works as a caddy. And he's telling about the time where he accidentally floored a golf cart into a pond, thinking that was his bad day. And he was literally standing on it like Jesus. And what's that one? Jesus walking on water and such and stuff.
Yep.
Garrett was walking on the roof of the underwater golf cart,
Looking like Jesus.
looking like Jesus. And not only that, but as he turned around was the glass diner area of the golf course. People laughing at his expense.
So he literally had an audience.
He literally had an audience as his golf cart accelerated directly into a pond where about 30 people had watched while eating their lunch with salads and fish and such like that.
That's a classic moment.
That's a classic moment.
Never
so
recreate.
So much so that his boss gave him a raise and say, "Hey, you're getting this thing out, but you know what? You're making my day, and I know you're doing good, but to make your day better, I'm going to give you a raise, so to feel like you're not getting fired from this. You're working your way up from now, but not the worst day you'll have and whatnot." And then Rich is talking about embarrassing moments from him, and I'm discussing mine where I'm asleep with one of the last girlfriends I had dated until Tiggs. That I was asleep.
I wasn't a girlfriend.
Oh, girl.
Oh, girlfriend. Sis.
Where I am,
honey.
Where I'm sleeping in bed with this one girl, and I was rudely awakened by being bashed in the face by a boob. Her boob was as big as my head, and she had two of them. So she could double. So imagine choking myself, but imagine this being a boob, and she's like boom, boom, boom against my
She
boob.
had a single boob or two boobs?
She had two boobs, but she only needed one to use. So she has double-handed breasted me in the face. I thought she was slapping me in the face. No, turned out boob. Slapped me in the face and it hurt like, ow. And you're like, oh my God,
this makes me think of the woman that was smashing watermelons with her boob. You remember that video?
You need to show me that video afterwards.
Let's look up woman.
So now this Confederate dude, which I knew he was a little bit odd. He talks about, I was in a meeting and I shit myself. I'm like, okay, all right, well that's pretty funny.
I'm vibing with that.
Okay. So now we're going from one story and we're sharing it to each other and whatnot. Now he's going into similars. He's trying to one-up us.
Oh boy.
So I talk about a story about Alkali or Alkadan or Dan from First Squared, the lovable ferret, and he's talking about the times where he got antiqued. Which is throwing a bunch of powder at someone sleeping.
Not just powder.
I don't know what it is.
Supposed to be flour.
Oh, okay, flour. And
yeah, you have to literally make them look like an antique. And flour is the best thing for that.
And he was a recipient of antiquing, but he decided to play his own joke by pretending to sleep.
The worst thing about antiquing with flour,
is
when it gets in your eye.
Oh, yeah. It creates yeast.
Right. As soon as it hits the moisture of your eye, it starts to, like one little ball, just like puffs up, and you're like, yeast.
So there he is, like
we'll have to antique each other one of these days.
No. Unless I'm wearing goggles. I'll wear goggles to bed from now on. I'll wear a gas mask. So now he's talking about Alkali, talking about like taking glow sticks, cutting them, putting them into super soakers, and spraying the guy in the chest, which apparently made his skin
with the glow stick fluid.
With the glow stick fluid for days.
That's poison.
It stains your skin.
Yeah.
Well, not forever, but it will stay in your skin for a few days.
Still poison.
Yeah, it's chemicals.
Yeah.
And he would freak him out when he was taking shrooms. He would go underneath the door, or he would squirt the squirt gun with glow stick fluid underneath the door jam, so it bled into his room. Yeah. So it made it seem like an alien invasion or something like that.
Lovely.
So now all of a sudden, this guy says, "Oh yeah, well I took a super soaker full of cat pee and went to a jock and I sprayed at him, and he was so mad." Ha ha! It's like, oh.
Girlfriend.
Then some of the stuff that he said got really weird and out of control.
Sounds like he was just making shit up at that point.
Yes, he was. And
I don't even have to be there to call that shit out.
And found out that talking to the Civil War Confederate unit that he belongs to, says, "Oh yeah, he's kind of special. He's kind of special needs and whatnot." So at that point, like, oh, okay, all right, well that makes sense.
That does make sense.
But every single time it involved a story with him taking his pants down. Or like Rich was saying to me, like, oh, there was this really smoking hot babe in middle school, and we were on the bus, and I was about to get off for my stop, and I wasn't holding on to anything because I was supposed to be cool.
And I took my pants down.
No. Well, this is actually Rich's. This is Rich's story, but you're getting close to it though.
Man.
So the bus suddenly stops for no reason.
And I took my pants down.
No. Oh. This is still Rich.
Okay.
So Rich is telling his story about how he almost fell forward, but the only thing that kept him from falling face flat was grabbing the tits on this one girl that he was staring at and said that she was beautiful. And then turned out after that, she was never on the bus again.
Of course not.
So now this, which we call him Kentucky dude, because I don't even know where the hell he's from.
The guy that was embellishing stories?
Yeah, so I decided to give him the moniker Kentucky dude because he was becoming Kentucky dude. It's like Florida man, but Kentucky dude.
It's better than Florida man, at least.
I think Kentucky dude is worse off than Florida man.
Yeah, well,
at least Florida man isn't shitting himself, pulling his pants down in front of a bus full of people.
I think Florida man has shit himself.
Once. Kentucky dude shit himself every time. Okay, so there I am, listening to Kentucky dude telling a story about, I was on a school bus. I was with my second ex. Oh, and he was talking about exes. Oh, my God. I forgot about his fourth and fifth and sixth exes. So he was like, oh, and I was on the bus. And then suddenly the bus stopped. And I pulled down the girl's panties. And then I pulled mine down. And then we're like, oh, I'm all naked. And then everybody was like, oh, he's all naked. And then we did it on the bus. It's like,
what?
Dude, what the fuck?
What
the fuck is all this? So now it started going into worse. Now Rich was talking about how him getting some action in his high school girlfriend's parents' room while they were almost walking in on them. So, typical high school stuff that you do by porking your girlfriend in your folks' room and whatnot. Now this Kentucky dude is saying, oh, yeah, well, it was with my third ex, and we were in the living room, and her panties were down, and my pants were down, and I was fucking her across the room in her vagina. Then her mom came in. She was really excited. Then she went in, and we had a threesome. These stories went nowhere. Oh, my God. And me, Garrett, and Rich were looking at each other in a triangle. Like,
oh, my God.
Like, looking at it like, dude, what the hell is going on here? They say, hey, I got to take a piss. You protect my hat. And he put his straw hat directly right in front of us. And we looked at that hat like, oh, my God, that thing is like Satan himself, because I thought it was a Chinese pointed straw hat, kind of like that.
Yeah.
No, it's like this fedora that's straw. I don't know how. Then immediately the very first thing that we said to each other as soon as he left and gone to use the latrine was, do we know this guy? And like, I have no idea who this guy is. So then he comes back and we're talking about more stuff and whatnot. And my Zelbond, my tent, was literally like right behind me. So I had the good excuse. Plus I'm tired. So I had the good excuse to, you know what? I'm going to sign off for a night. So have a good night, y'all. I'm like, oh, okay, you too. And then they started talking for another like 10 minutes. And they said, okay, we're going to go out and sleep in our own respective tents. And Kentucky dude just sit there and just said, I'm going to find someone. And then walked off. I can hear him from within my tent. I'm going to find someone. Got up and walked away into the abyss. And we didn't see him until the battle where we were hoping he would shit himself and, pull his pants down in the middle of battlefield while the Union forces were coming towards him. Because this Civil War battle, and I've been to a few Civil War battles in the Midwest early in my reenacting career at this point, it's going on, I would say, it's 14 years for World War II, so that's about 16 years for, since I've done Civil War. And They're very coordinated. They're quite elegant from an old time period of fighting in line and shooting until you see the whites of their eyes. No, we were seeing Kentucky Dude, and he's just literally dancing around and whatnot. It's like, you know what? We can't be hard on this guy because he's got some things going on.
Yep.
But we were all saying, what happens if he does pull his pants down? What happens while loading a cannon? What happens if his pants do come down? That might happen. Prunes! Prunes!
I wonder if the microphone picked that up.
I'm sure it did because it picks up every
Have we ever checked that?
We did, and they were audible. They were audible.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus, for this microphone.
Thank you for documenting. Thank you, big fluffy microphone, for documenting all my shits.
Oh my God.
This one time, I took my pants down and shit myself right in the middle of work.
He did say that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
What were some of the things that oh, I was in a car and I put it in backwards and then I shit myself. And then I got out and put my pants down. The car rolled away. Then I ran. Then I shit myself again. But then the car ran away. And then I decided I'm going to sit there and I'm going to watch. It's just these kind of stories. It's like,
you know what? I've had so many shitty stories that doesn't even faze me.
At first, I thought this guy was drunk. I thought trying to portray a Civil War Kentucky soldier, you were going to be as smart as fucking stones. No, actually turns out the guy's got problems. And I thought this was acting. I thought, holy shit, this guy is actually doing pretty good. He's being weird, but okay. No, he just turns out to be, you know,
a weird dude.
He's wired differently. That's okay. Because honestly, we're all wired differently just a little bit. But this guy, if anything, he was a connoisseur of taking his own pants down, fucking in the middle of the room, getting into an orgy, and then shitting himself.
Those are key things right there.
Dude, that's like the only thing he talked about the entire time for 3 hours.
Pants down, fucking shitting self. If you can hit those 3 points, you've got every story made.
And then he was also talking about how, oh, yes, and we should storm the Capitol. It's like, oh. Are you okay? Oh no, that smile doesn't sound too promise.
That's just it.
You are on a roll tonight.
Yeah, I took my pants down.
I took my pants
down. I shit myself.
I shit myself.
Notice I'm not getting up because I did not shit myself. But that was a puttering, sputtering,
dude,
old.
Your cheeks were going wub wub. Wub wub wub. It's like two rock flags that are like just like jelly beans. Boom, boom, boom. It just
the bass speakers were hitting low in that one.
Yeah. All the things are all rattling. I don't know. But yeah, okay, so that was Lockport event. Okay, we had some fun with that.
Not to interrupt, but I was crop dusting my back room today.
Good.
Yeah.
It's only too bad there weren't any kids because I just like doing that when I'm somewhere.
I did crop dust on the way back to the back room too, so the whole main aisle got crop dusted.
Cat fertilizer.
I'm gonna have to use the restroom soon. Are we gonna end this pretty soon?
Oh no! Are you gonna Kentucky Dude yourself?
I'm not gonna Kentucky Dude myself.
Okay,
it's almost 8 o'clock, and I do have to be in bed.
That's okay. So let me tell my last reenacting story that was actually really funny.
Okay.
So there were some guys at this past event from a different unit that was kind of pissing us off that, you know, because we got a tank, you got to do what we tell you to do, even though it's like, dude, don't be such an asshole. Well, during the battle, they had to abandon their tank. Like they just got knocked out of battle. So they're putting out smoke charges, making it look good. They're running out of their tank and whatnot and this and that. And they jump over my machine gun squad, literally almost landing on them with their feet. Like my guys could have been hurt from this stupid action of, oh, we're gonna jump right over a bunch of guys, even though they little look cool. I might potentially hurt people, which the second guy almost did. He actually landed between the legs of one guy. It's like, oh, okay, that pissed me off too much. So the next battle, I decided, hey, we're gonna fuck with them. If these guys run past and say, hey, I did not tell you to retreat. No, so my guys did one step better. Well, one of the guys ran a different direction, so okay, so we couldn't do that plan with him anyway. But one of the guys decided to run across right in front of us, and with reenacting, we shoot blanks anyway. My guy on the machine gun decides to like, oh, we should be targeting Americans. Wait a minute, it's that asshole. He trained the machine gun to follow the guy.
I knew.
And you know that one parakeet, that one gif of the explosions, and the parakeet's
Yes.
like, woo, 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 woo. Running away.
Boom behind him. Yeah.
The same exact thing happened.
Yep.
As we were firing on him, it's like,
Did someone film this stuff going on?
I hope so, because I want to show you what actually happened. It was the
God.
funniest shit ever. And we were training our sights on this guy because I didn't want him to shoot. I did not want this guy to be jumping right over us again the second time because that was stupid and dangerous. And you know what? That time was so funny. We were all laughing on that battlefield. Like, oh my God, that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And maybe the best shooting I've ever seen. Good job.
Yeah.
I am hoping that it was captured.
I hope so, because that's something that should be seen. I think we should end this.
Okay.
I have to sleep.
That too, and I should probably get ready for bed too anyway.
You have to work tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
you should be in sleep already.
at least it's not like I have to go in at 3:00 anymore, which I refuse to come in. If they ask me, hey, do you want to come in at 3:30 again? Like,
What
you know
time
what?
are you going in? 6?
I haven't found out.
What time did you go in yesterday?
They asked me to come in early,
How early?
4:40.
So almost sourpuss time.
However, if it's close to 5:00, I don't mind. If it means I can get out sooner, that's fine. But I am not coming in at 3:30 flat.
Yeah.
I am not starting off the station anymore. Unless it's part of my schedule, I refuse to come in at that time because you know what? That's rough.
Yep.
I'd rather not want to. And they keep me later anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, well, we can get you out early. Well, you still have me do a 12-hour shift anyway, so what does it matter? I'm out by 3:30 p.m. anyway. So.
Okay. I have to pee.
Okay.
What's on this?
All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Zooming Hoosk podcast. And once again, I'm your host, Dustin Husky.
And I'm Kurt and Sourpuss.
We miss you guys. It's been so long. I look forward to the next one. It's just, we've been a bit busy. And this just means we're going to be coming back to you with more content in time.
Yes.
Especially now that summer's over officially now.
Yep.
We should be able to pull up a bit more content for you guys just to enjoy the scenery and the environment and us and the podcast and such. So
And more Sourpuss Let's Plays.
And that too. And
I promise.
what is your YouTube channel?
I don't even remember.
I think it's just Kurt and Sourpuss.
Probably.
So I will find a link. I will on
I'll
this.
link it.
You're right. I'm gonna after this episode. I'm gonna go find his channel. I'm gonna put the URL.
Yeah, it is Kurt and Sourpuss.
Okay, so go to Kurt and Sourpuss on YouTube for his Let's Plays, and you can watch him play in suit.
Yep.
And hello, Rue. We're actually about to sign off, so it's glad to see you, but we're actually signing off right now. So I would say maybe next week, because this weekend I'm going to be gone. So let's shoot for next week, Wednesday or Thursday again.
Yep.
And probably the Saturday for sure, because I'll be around for Saturday. And we'll chat with you then. So keep an eye, and we'll push out more episodes in time.
Yep.
And Curtin's channel is Kurt and Sourpuss. I'll put a link in the
Kurt
URL.
and space
Sourpuss.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. We miss you all, and we'll see you next week. Night all.
Night.
Is it over yet? I think it's over. Oh, there's the button. It's right there. Ah.